The upcoming revision of ISO 9001 represents the most significant update to the world's leading quality management standard in nearly a decade. This presentation outlines the expected changes based on the published draft international standard and provides a strategic roadmap for successful implementation. Organizations have a full 3-year window to transition their quality management systems to the new requirements. Early adopters will gain competitive advantages and avoid last-minute implementation pressures. The 2026 revision isn't just an incremental update, it's a fundamental reimagining of quality management for the modern era. Organizations that embrace these changes will be better positioned to thrive in an increasingly complex business environment. This revision acknowledges that quality management systems must evolve beyond traditional compliance frameworks to become strategic enablers of organizational resilience, innovation, and sustainable growth. Clauses 4.1 and 4.2 receive significant updates that fundamentally expand the scope of contextual analysis. These changes reflect the 2024 amendments and incorporate environmental stewardship as a core business consideration. Firstly, organizations must now explicitly consider climate change implications and environmental impacts when determining QMS scope and relevant issues. This moves sustainability from optional to mandatory consideration. Regarding societal impact assessment, the revision requires organizations to evaluate their broader societal impacts and stakeholder expectations beyond traditional customer requirements. This includes community, environmental, and ethical considerations. This revision also emphasizes enhanced clarity. Minor refinements to language and structure improve the practical applicability of these foundational clauses, making implementation more straightforward for organizations of all sizes. Clause 5 undergoes transformative changes that elevate leadership's role from oversight to active culture building. The revision recognizes that sustainable quality excellence requires more than processes. It demands a fundamental commitment to ethical behavior and continuous improvement embedded in organizational DNA. New requirements emphasize promoting a quality culture where every team member understands their role in delivering excellence. Leaders must actively demonstrate and reinforce quality values through their decisions and actions. The quality policy must now explicitly reflect strategic direction and external context, including environmental and societal considerations. This ensures quality management directly supports organizational objectives. Clause 6 receives substantial enhancements that reflect the increasingly complex and interconnected risk landscape organizations face today. The revision provides clearer, more actionable guidance for identifying and addressing both risks and opportunities systematically. It provides clearer separation and expanded guidance on determining risks versus opportunities, with structured approaches for both. It has a greater focus on building resilience through anticipation of potential disruptions and scenario planning. There are modern risk categories, supply chain vulnerabilities, and digital/cybersecurity risks receive explicit attention and guidance. The revision acknowledges that supply chain disruptions can severely impact quality delivery. Organizations must assess supplier reliability, geopolitical factors, and alternative sourcing strategies as part of risk management. With increasing digitalization comes new risks around data integrity, cybersecurity, and system reliability. The standard now explicitly addresses these modern challenges that can compromise quality outcomes. Clause 10 represents one of the most forward-thinking updates in the revision, positioning continual improvement as a data-driven, technology-enabled practice rather than a reactive process. This shift recognizes that organizations must leverage modern tools to remain competitive. With streamlined structure, consolidation of continual improvement clauses eliminates redundancy and provides clearer, more actionable guidance for implementation. Regarding technology integration, explicit emphasis on emerging technologies including AI, machine learning, and automation as enablers of quality excellence. Requirements for reliable, accessible data to support analysis, drive improvements, and enable predictive quality management. Encouragement of innovative approaches to quality challenges, moving beyond traditional corrective action paradigms. It is an important opportunity that organizations that embrace digital tools and data analytics will gain significant competitive advantages in quality performance, efficiency, and customer satisfaction. This slide highlights the key areas of change introduced in the ISO 9001:26 revision, reflecting the evolving business, digital, and societal landscape. Starting with context of the organization, the standard expands its focus to include digital, societal, and sustainability trends. Organizations are now expected to consider cybersecurity, data privacy, and environmental, social, governance-related expectations as integral parts of their external and internal context. In leadership, accountability is strengthened. Top management is expected to take clear responsibility for managing digital risks, sustainability, and organizational resilience, while reinforcing customer experience, trust, and transparency as strategic priorities. The section on risks and opportunities broadens the risk-based thinking approach. It now explicitly includes operational, cyber, supply chain, and compliance risks. In addition, planning for change is emphasized through structured impact analysis, authorization, and verification to ensure controlled and effective change management. Under support, there is a stronger emphasis on digital competence and data handling skills. Organizations must manage not only documented information, but also tacit knowledge and AI-generated knowledge, while ensuring secure digital communication and addressing associated cybersecurity risks. Operational control reflects the shift toward digitalization. Requirements now recognize digital workflows, automation, and integrity controls, alongside increased expectations for supply chain resilience, sustainability, and risk management. In performance, the standard reinforces the use of performance, customer experience, and process effectiveness metrics. It also expands audit expectations to include cybersecurity, sustainability, and digital process audits. Finally, improvement adopts a more preventive and proactive mindset. Continuous improvement is closely linked to innovation and digital transformation, positioning the quality management system as a driver of long-term organizational value rather than a purely compliance-focused tool. Successful transition to ISO 9001:2026 requires strategic planning and systematic execution. Organizations that start early will avoid the rush, reduce costs, and potentially gain certification advantages over competitors. Follow this roadmap to ensure readiness. Firstly, build awareness among leadership, management, and staff about the nature and implications of upcoming changes. Ensure buy-in at all organizational levels. Secondly, systematically compare your current QMS against draft requirements. Identify gaps in climate considerations, digital capabilities, risk management, and cultural elements. Then, revise quality manuals, procedures, and work instructions to align with new clause requirements. Ensure policies reflect strategic direction and environmental considerations. Train teams on new requirements, including digitalization, ethics, enhanced risk management, and sustainability integration. Build competence before implementation. As the conclusion, schedule internal audits, management reviews, and certification body audits well ahead of the September 2029 deadline to allow time for corrections. you don't have to navigate this transition alone. A comprehensive ecosystem of support resources, tools, and expert guidance is available to help organizations of all sizes successfully adopt ISO 9001:26. Taking advantage of these resources early will accelerate your transition, reduce implementation costs, and minimize certification risks. Access webinars, training courses, and workshops covering the new requirements, implementation strategies, and best practices from early adopters. Utilize gap analysis, readiness assessments, and implementation checklists designed specifically for the 2026 revision. Engage audit services that evaluate your readiness and ensure smooth certification transfer to the new standard version. Subscribe to newsletters, industry bulletins, and guidance documents that keep you informed of developments and interpretation guidance. The ISO 9001:26 revision presents a pivotal opportunity to transform your quality management system from a compliance obligation into a strategic differentiator. Organizations that view this transition as an investment rather than a burden will emerge stronger, more resilient, and better prepared for future challenges. Early preparation is critical when approaching a major standard transition like this. Organizations that start early significantly reduce the risk of operational disruptions, last-minute panic, and unexpected cost overruns that often come with rushed implementation. Planning ahead allows teams to move at a controlled pace, make informed decisions, and avoid reactive firefighting. Rather than viewing this new revision as a compliance burden, it should be embraced as a powerful catalyst for positive change. This revision offers a unique opportunity to accelerate digital transformation, integrate sustainability initiatives, and introduce more innovative and data-driven quality practices. Organizations that take this perspective can turn the transition into a strategic advantage rather than a checkbox exercise. Finally, the 3-year transition window should be used wisely. This period provides the time needed to systematically design, test, and strengthen a resilient, future-ready quality management system. By leveraging this window effectively, organizations can build a QMS that not only meets the new requirements, but is also robust enough to withstand disruption, adapt to change, and support long-term business success.